Hello and welcome to another season of the Bird Tales. I'm doing it again, but as Cromer Woodworks on Instagram says, what the hell, bro? After the withdrawals I've been having from the past year, I'm not sure I can emotionally commit again. Well, Cromer Woodworks, you're correct. Last year, I called it quits early. You see, not to make too many excuses, but to make some excuses. Last year in October, our daughter was born, and then in November I contracted Lyme's disease for the second time in my life. And so if you watch those final episodes that I did last year, you'll see a pale, kind of sickly, sleep-deprived version of myself just trying to hustle through things and get them done. And so I decided something had to give, and unfortunately it was the Bird Tales. But it's a new year and I'm back. So we're going to try to make it through a whole season this year. I am going to make a change this year. In the past, this has always been a weekly vlog. And that was a source of some stress for me. Part of the reason why I quit doing it last year. Getting enough time in to hunt and edit videos and have everything done in 1 week is extremely difficult. And so I've decided this year that this is going to be a bi-weekly or twice a month kind of vlog. So you're just going to have to be patient with me. But enough talking about that, because I spent 3 awesome days hunting sharptails in North Dakota. Good morning. Today is September the 18th. It is my first hunt of the year. I am on some plots land out in the middle of nowhere, North Dakota. This has been hayed, but up over this hill is a big chunk of grass that hasn't been touched, it doesn't look like. So we're gonna walk up that way. I think I'm gonna take Gilligan and we're gonna see if we can find some sharpies. Well, that was a good way to start off our hunt in North Dakota. Gillian and I went out and got our limited sharptails. We found them pretty much all in this corner of a grazed pasture. The first set of birds were perfect. Gilly went on point. I walked up, one bird flushed, and I think it was out of range, I can't really remember. But the second bird flushed, I shot and dropped it. Gilly fetched it, brought it back to me.
Come, Gilly, Gilly, come. We did it, buddy, we did it.
The other birds, I was literally just thinking about walking back to the car. I turned and I looked back in the direction where the car is, and behind me I heard, so I turned around and shot another bird.
Gilly, what were you doing?
And then the last bird, we actually had a whole herd of cattle come running up, and they actually flushed five sharpies out of this bottom, and the sharpies all took off and flew up towards this brush. So we made a loop and came back around, and one bird came out perfectly for me. So I'm all done. Now I gotta get lucky and find some huns. That's gonna be more difficult than it's gonna be more difficult than it might seem. So WPA, all of this is WPA. Big covey was sitting on top of that stubble field there. We headed up that way. By the time we got to the field, I just caught a glimpse of them as they're flying back across into some unposted pasture over there. So we chased them. It was probably 25 birds, and they had only landed for maybe 10 minutes when we found them again, and Skip came down at kind of a weird angle, and so he ended up running right through them without ever getting downwind of them. And they all took off. We chased them a long ways, and we ended up bumping another covey way up ahead of us. But I think that was the covey that we ran into on the WPA where I actually ended up shooting the bird. So got another one. Wasn't exactly what I wanted. We're walking the edge of this WPA here, and Skip was on this hill right here. Skip was on that side of the hill. I was on this side of the hill, and I walked right up into this covey. Good boy. I'd say there was maybe 6 or 7. I think that guy over there probably just shot into the covey. They flew up that way and it looked like they were going down, I don't know, long ways over there, and I just heard a shot come up. So, but there's a bunch of birds in here. Haven't got a good point yet, but at least I'm on the board. That was an awesome spot. I'm literally standing here doing the interview before I started, and a whole covey of birds came flying in from somewhere. I have no idea where. Those were sharp-tailed. They went up over that hill, landed on the other side. We got over the hill, Gilly pointed them, walked down, they flushed, clicked. So I cycled my gun. There was a straggler that got up, shot it. And I was able to watch the flock go up and land somewhere on the next hill. We made a big loop, came around the other side, and one gave me a perfect shot. Limit. That's my limit for the day. I'm done again. North Dakota is not letting me down at all. It's been amazing. Alright, so I wanted to take a quick break from the video and do something different. I get quite a lot of private messages, emails, comments on videos from people saying, hey, how do you pick a spot to hunt? Or they say, hey, where should I go? Well, unfortunately, I'm just never going to tell you, oh, go right here. But we can go into a little bit of detail about how I decide where to go. Now in this hunt, I'm in North Dakota hunting sharptails, and we could get into the deep weeds, into real specifics about what kinds of habitat and how heavily grazed and all kinds of stuff like that. But for now, I'm just going to talk about the big picture stuff. And I've kind of narrowed it down to 3 things that I think about. The first thing I like to think about is habitat. You know, these are sharp-tailed grouse. They're not pheasants. And so sharp-tailed grouse need a ton of grass. So one of the first things that I would do in planning this trip is I'd sit down on the couch, I'd open up onX, and I would be looking for grasslands. Now, North Dakota has a fantastic resource. If you go on the layers in onX, you can see all of the grasslands have been mapped, or a good portion of them have been mapped for the state. But even if your state doesn't have that, or you're going somewhere that doesn't have that, just by looking at the aerial imagery, you can tell where there's grass and where there's not grass. So like this picture, this is grass, this is not grass. This is a lot of grass, this is not a lot of grass. So that's the first thing, and that's pretty obvious. Lots of grassland, you need lots of grass to find sharp-tailed grouse. The second thing is public land. I'm a public land hunter, and North Dakota is a great state in regards to there's quite a lot of public access, and as most people know, if it's not posted, you can hunt it. Now the third thing is something that I probably spend the most time thinking about, but that I probably understand the least, and that is people. Now this is North Dakota. There's not a lot of people that live in North Dakota, and I'm hunting sharp-tailed grouse. So I didn't think about people all that much. I knew there was going to be lots of places to go, and there was probably not going to be that many hunters out there. And as a matter of fact, while I was out there, I think I saw a grand total of 4 or 5 other hunters. But any other time, in some other states maybe, I put a little bit of consideration into, I'm a hunter. And so if this spot looks obvious to me, if I found a town that is a decent sized town, it's got a couple of hotels, and there's some great looking public land next to it, I'm probably not the only hunter who's thinking about going there. And if I'm planning on going on a holiday weekend, chances are I'm not going to be the only hunter there. And so I might think about, well, is there stuff that's an hour or an hour and a half away from where I'm going to be staying that I can hunt, if that's the only town where there's a hotel? Or can I find a bunch of public land that's in the middle of nowhere, and maybe I have to sleep in the back of the rendezvous or tent or find some other way? Now that's not always the case. I know of at least a couple spots that are right outside of city limits. Seems like all of the hunters that live in town just drive right past them probably with the same thought that I have of, oh, this is too close to town, it probably gets overhunted, and so nobody really hunts it. So I'm going to keep doing this segment throughout the year, kind of breaking down some of the things I was thinking about when I decided to go to that spot. And maybe it'll be useful to you, maybe it won't. I've been on a number of hunting trips where I didn't shoot squat. And so I'm just a guy who goes hunting. Maybe it's not worth anything, but that's what I think about. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's get back and finish up the North Dakota hunt. Good morning. It is day 3, the final day of my North Dakota hunt. I got Skip out. He's had the worst of the weekend. I think he's only seen 1 bird go down, and Gilly's seen 5. So Gilly's also done better. He's had a couple points. Skip's had a couple big mess ups. WPA over there. I'm trying to stay out of the wind. Got a WPA over there. It's been grazed. It looks really nice. Wheat field behind me over here. We're on the north side of the WPA. The wind's coming out of the south. So hoping there's some birds on the WPA that were either in the wheat field earlier or about to be in the wheat field. All right, let's go. Well, I've been hunting for about 15 minutes now, and I got 2 sharpies. We had 1 kind of point and 1 good point. Whoa, go for a strike.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. No, that was quick. Get it, Skip, get it. Come. Good boy, Skipper. Oh, perfect.
It's an awesome day, but it's just me out here, and I only got 1 bird left. And I would really like to at least walk a few miles. I'm gonna keep wandering. I'm almost done, and it's just, I've been walking for 15 minutes. All right, I'm done. I'm sitting in the car. It's really windy outside now, but day 3, 3rd limit. This has been an incredible trip. But I switched out, got Gilly. He blew up a big covey of birds.
Whoa! Whoa!
We watched him fly up over a hill and land in a pasture. We didn't see him land, but I had a pretty good idea they were up there. We came up over the hill and seen 4 or 5 fly out, and the covey was probably 10. So we worked our way downwind, and there was actually a bird that flushed behind me, and Gilly took off after that. And I don't even know, I kind of blacked out. It was just chaos. Some birds got up in front of us, and I know Gilly was coming and running up in front of me, and I was trying to stop him, and I don't remember if he stopped or not. I was just saying whoa when another bird flushed, so I shot that one, and that was our limit.
Here it comes.
But I know I was gonna wait, but it was starting to rain a little bit, and now it's getting later in the day, so I just wanted a bird in the hand and get on the road. North Dakota has been awesome. All right, North Dakota was awesome. I wish I was back there right now. So many birds, so much land to walk. It was just a blast. But that's it. I gotta wrap this up because I got Skip. I'm at a WMA in Minnesota, and I'm about to go see how many birds we can blow up and not point, and I can miss, and yeah, all that stuff. So I appreciate you watching. Stay tuned for next week. See ya.